In Jujutsu Kaisen sequel series Modulo, we've been following the events of the descendants of our Part 1 sorcerers, as well as new alien friends who've arrived and also have their own version of sorcery from their homeworld. However, a lot of people want to know how they'd stack up against our characters from Part 1, so let's start with Maru and what he's like compared to Yuji. First off, by the end of Part 1, we know that Yuji had awakened his own version of Shrine, had limited use of different blood manipulation abilities, revealed his domain expansion, which is still extremely confusing to some people, and behind all of this awakened the massive strength buff, which goes very well with his usage of reverse curse technique healing to keep him in the fight long term. Now for Maru, we know that he's actually a pretty capable hand-to-hand fighter, being trained on his planet by a personal friend of the strongest alien in existence to be a warrior from a young age. In a straight hand-to-hand fight between these two, I think things would be kinda even. However, I'm gonna give the edge to Yuji because we've seen his hand-to-hand in a lot of fights at this point in the series, and he always seems pretty comfortable even fighting against armed opponents, and doesn't really stop when it comes to pain. Speed-wise, it's hard to tell who's faster here because while Maru isn't fast enough to outspeed Tsurugi, who mastered his heavenly restriction and officially became a new Toji or Maki, we've seen that likewise even characters like Sukuna had a difficult time keeping up with Maki at times, and I'd still say she's faster than Yuji. So for now, we'll say Maru and Yuji are comparable in speed. Now what this really comes down to is curse technique versus curse technique, and for Yuji, we know that his version of Shrine at the end of the series is sort of a modern take on it, where to use cleave he has to make physical contact with something, which gets grade school cutout lines on it to show where he's gonna slice, and he also has the ability to use dismantle, which mind you, he can do both of these techniques and target the soul itself, bypassing the body to do damage directly. Outside of that, like we've mentioned, he also has piercing blood, which is pretty capable on its own. However, Maru's curse technique is no joke either, with him being able to basically manipulate the laws of reality within a certain space as he shifts gravity or creates and controls plant life. Having seen both of these characters fight separately a few times now, I think I'm pretty comfortable in saying that Maru would probably easily be able to take out Yuji pre-Shibuya arc. However, once we get into that final arc, I don't think that there's much he could do to actually finish Yuji off. On top of the fact that we've never seen a SIMURIAN hit a black flash and don't even know if they have that concept. If these two fought, I think we'd see a close fight with Yuji coming out on top at first before Maru's third eye opens and he starts to take things really serious, where from here, Yuji will probably face some difficulty, but he'll still be able to pull out a victory, especially considering he has a domain and Maru doesn't. However, now I want to talk about whether I think the strongest alien would be able to hang with some of the most powerful characters in the series. So let's talk about Gojo versus Deborah next.